My journey to diagnosis began when I was 10 years old. My brother Garrett, who was 5 years younger than me, came home from school. He had hit his head on a table and was complaining that he could not see. And so after a couple of weeks of persistent, "Mom, I can't see, Mom, I can't see," my mom took him to the eye doctor, and the eye doctor referred us to a specialist. And then the eye specialist said, you know, there's really only two options for this. One is homocystinuria, the other one he doesn't qualify for because he's not old enough. So then they referred us to a geneticist who tested Garrett, and he tested positive for homocystinuria, then preceded by the rest of us. And there's 8 children in our family. So they hauled us all into this little tiny room and lined us all up one by one, and we were all tested. I was the only other sibling in my family that tested positive for homocystinuria. And that's really where the journey began. And since then, it's just kind of been learning about homocystinuria, trying to comply with the diet, and so forth. It's been a long journey to get there. But my day-to-day experience living with homocystinuria, it's pretty routine. Every morning I get up, I take HCU Express, which is a powder, and I have 3 shaker bottles I put it into. So each shaker bottle gets 1 sachet of the formula. And then I also mix my cystathionine into that also, along with like a flavor packet for each thing to kind of mask it because it has such a potent flavor otherwise. And then once a month, which sounds crazy, I have this giant pill container that I take and I fill up with my B6, my B12, and my folic acid, and I'm also on an anticoagulant, so it's all mixed in there for the whole month. So it's just this giant pill box. It's wonderful. It was one of the first gifts my husband gave me, which, as dorky as it is, it was like the best thing anyone could come up with. And then pretty much every night before I go to bed, I also figure out what I'm going to eat for the next day. And thankfully I work for my mom, who owns a small business, so I'm able to cook my lunch every day because low protein food just does not hold up like regular food. So I'm able to take and cook my lunch every day to make it so it's palatable and it tastes good and still within compliance. So my biggest problem is coming from such a big family. A lot of our family gatherings centered completely around food. And so I think my biggest problem that I face really, and it's something I think many families face with the metabolic disorders, is just food in general. Like when you go out to eat to family gatherings, the anxiety of what are you going to eat. Coming to Prague, that was my big concern is, oh no, am I going to be able to eat anything? And then I kind of psyched myself out. But there's always food, there's always fruit, there's always vegetables, and it's just a matter of kind of learning to relax and know that it will be okay, because you always have your formula wherever you go. You can't not take it with you. So for me, it's food, like family gatherings, going out to eat. In most cases, there's always a salad or French fries or something that you can kind of eat just to get by until you're able to get to your food. So just planning ahead for those kind of situations. My single greatest hope for myself is to be able to have a family. My doctors think that because my homocysteine levels are low, that I should be able to successfully have children with a lot of guidance and careful, a lot of doctor appointments and just follow-ups. And then for homocystinuria as a whole, I really hope that one day there is a treatment that is not as taxing, especially for the families that I feel I can manage it with the diet, but I know a lot of families, it's a huge struggle to get kids to take formula. I hope for their sake a cure would be wonderful, but management that's more realistic, that's my hope.